A key part of our off-road toolkit is going to be gear that can deal with electrical problems. Here at MadMat 4Wheel Drive, I'm all about educating and building the four-wheel drive community so that we can wheel well. So this day and age, modern vehicles are very reliable when it comes to electrical issues. But we do tend to modify our vehicles a fair bit and put a whole bunch of accessories in there, like our fridges, and I've got a water pump, and I've got lights up here and spotlights and all of this sort of stuff. And it's these accessories that tend to be the components that give us grief when we're out wheeling and having a great day in the bush. So we need some basic gear that's going to help us fix those issues. On a recent trip, a mate had an issue where a short in an Anderson plug at the back of his four-wheel drive made the vehicle catch fire, and it burnt his whole draw system. Fortunately, he had a fire extinguisher and we were able to put it out, but it did do some damage enough that there's going to be an insurance claim. So that was a very unfortunate incident due to electrical accessories. So where do you start? Well, everything in our accessories needs to be fused back to the battery. So carrying a selection of fuses is critical. Make sure these fuses suit the accessories and suit your application. No point having a whole bunch of fuses that don't work. One thing you can do as well is go to a wrecking yard or salvage yard and purchase a bunch of relays and fuses out of a vehicle that's identical to yours. A very basic device for testing electrical circuits is a test light, just like this one here. You connect that to earth, and then with this you can probe and find where the electricity is, and if it lights up, you know you've got power there. If it doesn't, you know you haven't, and then you can diagnose your problem and find where a potential fault might be. That's the most simplest form of diagnosing electrical circuits. A little more advanced is a multimeter. Now, a multimeter is a great device because it can actually measure resistance. It doesn't need a battery to be able to tell you whether a circuit could potentially be working. So if you're a little bit more handy, make sure you include a multimeter in your kit. Now, one point where I made a mistake when I purchased this unit, it has a push button on-off switch. So if it's in my toolbox and it gets turned on, when I come to use it, it's going to be flat. So you can get multimeters where the off button is part of the dial. I reckon that'd be a better purchase than what I've got here. What else you need in the kit? You need a small selection of wire. You don't need great rolls and reams of it. You're going to be generally just fixing a very small section of wire. Oftentimes you don't even need wire because you can just trim out the fault or the short or whatever you're dealing with and connect them back up. And then when it comes to connecting, well, you can use your crimp terminals, which we're all well and truly familiar with, I'm sure, and have a selection of those in your kit. But I've come across these. Now, they're called a solder sleeve, and they're a fantastic little device. Essentially, you only need a cigarette lighter or a flame to operate them. Bear the wires back as though you were going to solder them. Poke the two wires in the end there, heat it up with a flame, and that solder is going to melt, give you a solder joint, and then it's going to seal and give you a waterproof soldered joint. Really quick and easy, and excellent devices for these sorts of repairs. And you can always, when you get back home, you can get the job done properly. A lot of these issues, they're all about just getting us safely back home to where we can get resolved. You don't have to do a factory repair when you're out there in the bush. And the other thing I'd add to the kit is some cable ties and some heat shrink, which I don't have with me today, and maybe some electrical tape. And that's basically all you're going to need in your off-road toolkit so that you can get out there and have a great day out. Now, some of the other videos that I've done that you may find of interest, I've done some videos around what tools you should take with you when you go off-roading, and those videos are linked up there. And I've done some videos around what spare parts you should take with you when you head off-road, and those videos are over there. I'm Mad Matt. Stay safe on the trails.